Hello, hello, and welcome to the Wash Diet Podcast. This is season 2. I'm so grateful for you joining us and continuing to follow. If this is your first episode, please make sure to go back and look at season 1. Got a lot of phenomenal dads on there to have some great conversations. But today we have one of my favorites, man. He's like famous in the city. I'm gonna push him like he needs to be doing his own brand. We'll talk about that here in a second.
For sure.
But what do you want me to call you today? Is it Alfred or is it Al? Is it Frugal Freddy? Which one are we going for?
I got a lot of names.
You do? You got a lot of aliases, right?
Each aliases have its own personality. You call me Freddy today.
All right, Freddy today it is. Freddy today it is. Well, listen, we have the Mr. Frugal Freddy on the line today.
Yes.
A good friend of mine, man. We've been rocking it out for a couple of years.
Almost 10.
Has it been 10 already?
I met you when I first moved down here.
Wow, that is crazy. Yeah, we got to talk about that too. Move down here. So tell us about who you are and where you're from.
Okay.
Because I got a couple of things we need to talk about that, where you're from.
So my name is Alfred Wilson, a.k.a. Frugal Freddy. First and foremost, I'm a family man. I'm a father. I'm a brother. And then on top of that, I'm a financial coach. And I help people achieve financial success.
Awesome.
Whatever way that they want, I'm there to be that accountability partner.
Awesome. No, I appreciate that,
I'm from
man.
Cleveland.
And he's from Cleveland.
Go Browns.
Ooh, okay, yeah, we can say go Browns. Rest in peace to my late uncle. He's big Brownie fan, so he's the main reason that I'll say, like, all right, let's go Browns. Let's watch them on Sunday, see what's going on.
Yes.
But being from Cleveland and living in Columbus, which one's better? Now, your people going to be watching this.
Yeah, man, this might cause some ruckus, man. Columbus is better.
Really?
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I've been down here almost 12 years.
Yeah.
Work brought me down here, and it's no knock to Cleveland. Cleveland's home. I love Cleveland. I love our Polish boys.
Yeah.
I love the Cleveland Browns, but I don't think I would have been Frugal Freddy in Cleveland.
Okay.
There's so many dope people here, dope people in Cleveland. It's just a different energy down here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are not from here, and I think that helps with the city.
Mm-hmm.
The city's huge.
Yeah.
It's always something to do.
Yeah.
So I like it. And, I get to meet cool people like yourself and other brothers out here. So yeah, man, Cleveland's home, but Columbus is better.
It's better? All right, fair.
Yeah.
Well, see, I ain't even got to rag on you today. Then I can let you get off with a pass. No, that's awesome to hear. I mean, obviously interstate rivalries and all that kind of good stuff. A lot of folks go back and forth. I got a lot of family in Cleveland.
Yes.
So I'm up there often. But
for sure,
I love Cleveland for the summertime for sure.
Yes.
At the lake, all the good.
Lake.
Oh man, this is beautiful, beautiful up there. But glad to hear that 614 is growing on you a little bit. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, tell me a little bit about you as far as dad. I mean, you're a father.
Yes. I'm a father to a 6-year-old girl now. She recently turned 6 on February 1st.
Okay.
And that girl is something else. We had a birthday party. We all went to Disney on Ice.
Yeah.
And it was her and 6 of her little friends from school. And I made it through. Me and her mom made it through.
He said we survived.
We survived. And it was a good time, man. It was good to see, I'm sure we'll talk about this, like to see Savannah in her light with her friends.
Yeah.
I don't see that often. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Outside of, play dates and things of that nature. But these are her homegirls.
Yeah.
And they had a good time. They were dressed up in their Disney on Ice stuff. And it was a good time. It was a good time.
Were you singing all the songs? That's the real question.
To be honest with you, I fell asleep.
You felt like you were one of those dads, huh?
The fireworks woke me up.
Oh, okay. All right.
After them fireworks went off, I was up.
I was up. I'm good to go.
But it was a good time. It was a good time.
Good, man. No, that is awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
So, as a father,
Yes.
I know your financial space is really, kicking off and taking off. And that's outside of your regular career.
Correct.
Talk to me a little bit about the brand of Frugal Freddy. Like, how did that get going? How'd you get started with that?
Yeah, Frugal Freddy, actually going on 9 years old. I've been doing it for 9 years.
9 years.
And I shared in my show, Frugal Freddy is an avatar of my stepdad.
Okay.
Yeah, my stepdad name is Shep, and that's how I became familiar with being frugal. Like this dude, man, he's off the hook. I remember growing up, this dude was just, we go to the Cracker Barrel. We always go to Cracker Barrel. It's like, oh man, let me get some water and some lemons and some sugar. This dude would make lemonade. Like, dude, just order the lemonade.
Right,
you
right.
know, like, come on, man.
But that water is free.
Yeah, the water is free and the lemons are free. So
yeah.
that was like my first like introduction to it.
Okay.
And then like fast forward, 9 years ago. I'm continually on my journey right now, but I started my debt-free journey, where I started documenting things on social media, like, hey, I'm paying down debt. This is the moves I'm making. Yeah. And the camera was really on me, and that was uncomfortable, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So my homeboy gave me the name Frugal Freddy. First name Alfred, Frugal, put the words together. Yeah. And since then, man, it's turning the camera the other way. Like, how can I help other people achieve their financial goals?
Awesome.
So there's that. I got the podcast.
Right.
I got some other things. I got the Cash Millennials, which is a cousin of Frugal Freddy. So the Cash Millennials is an investment club that I have with some college friends where we invest in the stock market every month.
Okay.
Hopefully we can hit $50,000 here soon.
Nice.
We're like 30 some thousand. Our goal is to hit $1 million.
Okay.
And also another goal of ours is to help other people start their own investment club.
Nice.
So be on the lookout for that. That will be coming soon. But I'm all about group economics. I'm all about building wealth. I'm all about having financial self-awareness because we all have financial triggers. We've all been through some things. Mm-hmm. We all want to build wealth, but we got to get through some of the things to get to where we want to go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When in your experience, what are some of the things that kind of stand out for fathers, for dads, for males in general, of our struggles to get to that space of either being financially frugal, I'm going to use that, or being prepared to be ready to invest? Like, what are some of the struggles you see?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say, man, like getting out of our own heads. I think as men, we've been conditioned to provide. Mm-hmm. What does provide mean? It's not always financially.
Okay.
I've been watching a lot of podcasts here lately about providing provision.
Okay.
And I definitely, struggle with that sometimes. Like, I got to get this money. I got to do this grind. I got to do this. But at what cost? Yeah. I can make a lot of money, but at what cost? To my family? No, I ain't doing that. So I would say that's maybe the biggest struggle that I can like think about for other guys out there, like the pressure to provide. Mm-hmm. And now being in this dating space, I know we're gonna talk about that. That's a thing, right?
Yeah.
So like the pressure to provide can be crippling to men.
That's true.
And sometimes we gotta take our cape off.
Yeah.
So
no, that's a fair statement, and there is a lot of pressure when you talk about providing. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna flip that on you just a little bit. What is your definition of provide? Like, what in your mind? You're a dad, right? Mm-hmm. You're also a dad that is divorced, right? Yep. What does provide look like for you?
Hey, man, that wasn't in the question list. I'm messing with you. Provide to me is providing my presence first, providing safety, providing grace, and then providing financially.
Okay.
Presence is the biggest one for me because, we can, like I said, we can make as much money as we want. You have 2 kids. I have a daughter. If I'm away from home, I'm not there. I'm not present.
Right.
Kids don't know daddy. I don't know kids. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where that is something that's been on my mind a lot lately. Yeah. And I may be overcompensating it. And to be honest with you, I don't know if you know this about me. I lost my dad when I was 6.
Oh, wow.
So my dad was 33 when he passed away. Wow. And I've learned that I overcompensate in my presence because my dad he couldn't be there.
He couldn't be there, right,
you know
what
I mean? So like, I would never want my daughter to not know who I am.
Yeah.
So I overcompensate in that, and I'm okay with overcompensating presence.
Yeah.
I'm at every doctor's appointment. I'm at every event. I'm involved, even in a co-parenting situation. So
no, I mean that's admirable for you to be in that space, right? Like obviously being in a marriage at one point, now in the separation space, and still stepping into a space of like, I don't want that disconnect, right?
Absolutely.
Like I had a disconnect, not something that you could, change or be any different, but having a space where you're now dedicated to, no, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna be present. And I don't know that I would call that overcompensating. I would just call that straight out, I'm there. I'm a dad. I'm a father, right?
Doing what I'm supposed to do.
I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, that's my one pushback to you on that one. Because honestly, I mean, that's amazing to hear somebody that's invested in being in that space. But interestingly enough, you're now older than what your dad was.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
How does that feel thinking about that and your relationship to your daughter?
That's crazy. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I'm 37 now? You see all this gray hair now? I never thought about that. I think it's one of those things where, dang, I didn't think about that. It's interesting because, I have, memories of my father, but there's some things we never done. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this with my daughter. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Because we're always on the go. You know what I mean? So it's trying to father her like I would want my dad to father me if he was still living. You know what I mean? So that's a good question.
Fair. So thinking about your brand and that fatherhood build, how has the relationship been for you and Savannah as you've built that brand? What's the challenges that you've maybe seen? Because, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, right? You got podcast recording, you got your actual meetings set up, you got your investment portfolio now and friend group. How does that work for you, and what do you think the impact?
I don't believe in what is it called? Balance? What it was called? Lifestyle?
Work-life balance?
Yeah, that's not a thing, right?
Okay.
I feel like I've heard the term work-life harmony.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, like you just mesh it all together.
You put it all in there
and
together.
You have a priority list. Like, she's number one.
Yeah.
But if I have an opportunity for her to be involved or be there or be here, she's going to come.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I know early on in building Frugal Freddy, of course, she wasn't alive. And during the time when, her mother was pregnant and when Savannah was born, it was a struggle. It was a struggle. And I haven't said this publicly. It was a point that I resented Savannah.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm like, man, who this little kid taking over my time and my space?
That's fair.
And it was resentment there. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
I want to build Frugal Freddy. I want to do all these things. And then, I really had to have a real conversation with myself. Like, at the end of the day, you got to take care of this kid.
Yeah.
And once I've got beyond that resentment, it's just been great ever since.
What were your steps, or would you give a tidbit to getting beyond that resentment? Because that's difficult. Let's be honest. That is really hard to do.
Yeah.
If you're a father, you've got a career. I'm gonna take it to the 9-to-5 world, right? Yeah. Like you got a career you're trying to build. You travel. You do all these things.
Correct.
And that resentment starts to build of you having to adjust and shift and maybe even take yourself out of different things. Yeah. How did you get past that? Like, what are some tips that you would give out to somebody?
Man, I'm gonna say the cliche. I went to therapy. That was the glue to all of my healing for the last few years. When I was married and when Savannah was born, I had 2 panic attacks. And most of it was work triggered and just family triggered. Like this whole newness of being a father, being a husband. It was a lot on both of us, to be honest, all 3 of us, to be honest with you. And that was like the kick in the butt that I need. Like, dude, you need to go therapy. You know what I mean? So I went to therapy, and that was, I was going every other week. And then I went to monthly, and then I went to quarterly, and now I'm done. Okay. And that helped. Also, isolation helped me. Okay. Just being away. I don't consider myself a public figure. Okay. I'm just Frugal Freddy sometimes. But going into isolation helped a lot because I'm just with myself and thinking and things of that nature. So I would say definitely therapy, finding a hobby. I think as men, sometimes we get too much in the grind and we don't do things that bring pleasure to ourselves or excitement or something to look for. Like, you don't have to be good at it. Right. You know what I mean? So like, I want to get into woodwork. I'm not good at it, but it sounds interesting. I want to build some things, you know? If I got one little thing, I'll be happy with. So
I have achieved this goal.
Yeah, this is one little box thing I'm happy with. And so it was just, getting involved, like really tapping into that inner boy in me. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Good. No, that's awesome. Awesome to hear, and great to hear your thought process and walking through it, right? And how you obtain that next step. Focus on a hobby. Ooh, Lord. Okay.
Yes, we all need them.
We
man.
all need them. That's true.
Like, we got to get away from the grind. Like we got to. This is gonna sound bad. We got to get away from our family in a way that is filling up our cup. Because if our cup is empty, how can we pour into our family?
That's fair. That's fair. My wife don't listen.
Within reason.
I'm always telling my wife not to watch these episodes because I feel like I get in trouble.
You almost got in trouble.
Well, I almost got it right. I almost got in trouble the last time. No, that's really good and solid. And the irony is there's several of the fathers that have come on that have said the exact same thing.
Correct.
So that tells me, one, we're all in that same space of like, bro, I got to find something for me. I've got to figure out something that I can do to enhance my thought process, to pour back in, to fill me up. And I would also add to, likely it's going to be other brothers that are out there.
For sure.
Because I know when you and I get together, we talk, we kind of communicate about what's going on. And there's a feeling of that, right? Like, man, like, bro, I'm struggling with this, or I'm going through these spaces and I'm trying to get a podcast going. And, all of that, that helps to fill you up in a way that, is very positive and for me, mentally stabilizing for some of those spaces.
No,
right?
that's real.
So
That's real.
I appreciate that.
I recently heard this quote. I'm probably going to butcher it. It was talking about like how men are workaholics. They said men aren't workaholics. They're allergic to home. I was like, dang, that's deep. Like, why are we allergic to home? For whatever the reason. If it's the pressure to be a father at home or a husband at home, like, no, we need to step up and not be allergic to home. You know what I mean?
You need to be there every once in a while.
Yeah, every once in a while. But in all seriousness, like that really hit home. Like home can be figuratively too, right? You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be the physical building. But it can be like, are you present with your wife, your kids, whoever in the house, your dog sometimes, Hey, so, I wanted to share that. Yeah. You said the couch?
No, he counts.
Oh,
the dog.
he counts.
I was thinking about mine personally.
I was
he
be present with the TV too.
The Sunday afternoon, I got to do what I need to do during the fall season. For me, hockey season is pretty long, so I can't really, dedicate it or I will be in trouble. No, that's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. So with your brand, as you have built it out and you've gone through and now you're in a space of, pretty well known. I mean, I would say at least. What's next? Like, what's next for Frugal Freddy? Like, where are you headed with this thing?
Yes, that's a great question.
How do people tap into it?
I would say for me, I had to sit down and really think, what is next for Frugal Freddy? Frugal Freddy is really about who I am. So I'm in this like evolution period. I'm in the process of building Aspire Financial.
Okay.
So Aspire Financial is a financial coaching practice where it'd be me and a team of coaches helping individuals, couples, and small organizations with their financial goals.
Nice.
So I've been working on that. There's a couple opportunities coming my way, and it's like it's bigger than Frugal Freddy. Like Aspire is really to help the community, especially young adults, couples. As we know, one of the leading causes of divorce is money. Yeah, you know what I mean. So how can Aspire Financial combat that on the forefront? Before you even get married, like having these money talks and things of that nature. And then also working with small groups. I see a space for me to work with like men groups. You'd be surprised how many men come to me and talk about their money. Yeah. And at first it kind of blew me because, in our society, we think, oh, men are so egotistical. Some of us are, and I think it's good to have ego. Yeah. But I feel like I built enough goodwill and safe space around me for men to like, hey man, I need help. Yeah. And I'm here to help. Yeah. Within reason. I can't pay bills or anything, but I'm here to be that person to help them to get to their financial goals without any judgment, and just more of just encouragement and different things, techniques and things of that nature to kind of get to that point.
Yeah. What is most in your point of view, why is building wealth important for fathers?
Ooh, that's a good question. It kind of goes back to legacy. Of course, financial wealth is important, right? And that helps sustain the family to continue on. However, I think one thing that we miss is like, what are some of those principles that we're leaving behind? what integrity, honesty, community focus, like those things are important too, because we can all be rich.
Yeah.
If our kids are bad, they're going to blow that money quick.
Right.
Or whatever lessons, hard work or things of that nature. How are we teaching that to our kids now? So when we are able to give them that money or that property or whatever the asset is, they'll know how to nurture it and take care of it.
Yeah.
So
no, that's
hope that answers your question.
No, it definitely does. I mean, and it gives reason and thought process to like what am I doing, right? And like I think I've said before on the show, like legacy, and I think that's in our conversation. Legacy is more than just money. It's more than just what I give you. It is truly what I instill in you as a father, and what I instill in you as a person that is giving you life, if you will, and kind of going from there. Yeah. So, no, good information there. So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit.
Here comes the curveball.
Here comes the curveball. Talk to me about divorce.
Okay,
and specifically about raising a daughter through divorce. What's life look like in that?
Of course you don't expect to be divorced,
right?
But it's been good. You know, our divorce wasn't messy. Like, we're still friends. At the end of the day, it's about Savannah.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. Like, we are a good team. Like I said, with the birthday, you know, we do birthdays together. I know some co-parenting situations, they don't do birthdays together. Right. And we can be in the same space. I always joke, we can only be in the same space for 2 hours. But in all seriousness,
there's a time limit to this.
Like, yo, I know you're tired of me and I'm tired of you. But no, we could be in the same space without people being awkward or anything like that. And at the end of the day, it's about our daughter.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure she's on her healing journey. I'm on mine. And it's about Savannah at the end of the day. And I would say initially when the divorce happened, it was one of those things like, damn, like, how can I father?
Yeah.
And, you know, dealing with loneliness and just a new way of life, you know what I mean? And I'm past that, and we have a good like schedule. So I have Savannah every other day and every other weekend. So I at least see her every day if it's either dropping her off or picking her up from school. So that schedule helps us a lot for me to be involved and be present. But just, you know, trying to build myself back up, because you have to grieve a divorce. Yeah. You know, it is what it is. And that was probably, I won't say the best thing that happened for Savannah, but it was a good thing to happen for the whole situation, because I would not want our daughter to grow up and we were still together, us bickering back and forth, whatever the case may be, for her to see that. Yeah. She can see us be parents together for her, you know? So, yeah.
So you mentioned in there the loneliness. So I'm going to key in on that for a second.
Oh, yeah.
What did that look like for you?
Ooh, it was weird, to be honest, because I've never been really lonely before.
Okay.
And when it was like really prevalent, it's crazy, because I wouldn't like clean up her room when she was away, because it was a sense of like, oh, she's here. So I just let things all over the place, you know, like, okay, there's a kid that lives here. Yeah. And it took, you know, sometimes I have those moments, especially when it's not my weekend. It's like, what do I do with myself? Yeah. And that kind of goes back to my point about isolation. I went in isolation. Yeah. I mean, it helps to live on the far east side of Columbus, because it is something out there, but everything's downtown. And it allowed me to like really work on myself. Yeah. How can I be a better father? How can I be a better person? You know? So like I said, I have bouts with it sometimes. So it kind of goes back to the hobby. I picked up cycling. And then I'm like, you know, I'm going to pour into my vision. So I consider podcasting a hobby. You know what I mean? So it allowed me to kind of explore other sides of Alfred that I wasn't exploring, you know, in my moments of loneliness. Yeah. So
fair. How do you feel the divorce has impacted Savannah now that she's had, because you guys have been divorced?
2022.
Okay, so about three years?
Yeah, 2022.
Okay. How do you feel like the impact has been on her? Has she had any things that have played out that you've had to address?
That is a good question. You know, people always say kids are resilient, and it's true. So her normal is this. Yeah. You know, and that was my biggest worry. Like, damn, like, how do you explain this to at the time, 3-year-old, or 4-year-old, or 5-year-old? And she knows she got mommy and daddy, and mommy and daddy live in 2 different places. So she got 2 of everything. She is well loved and well spoiled. She knows how to manipulate it too. Yeah,
she got some negotiation tactics happening.
And I always fall for it, man. Like I'm a sucker for it, bro. Like, all right, Savannah, I know what you want.
Right.
Don't make me feel bad about it. But she's been cool. And crazy enough, like 2 of her close friends are from divorced households.
Okay.
And me and the other dads are cool, and the moms are cool, which is crazy.
Nice. Yeah.
And we all can be in the same space.
Yeah, and it's a sense of community.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, of course I didn't envision that for her life.
Right.
I definitely desire to get married again, and so she can kind of see a nuclear family. Mm-hmm. But it's our reality. We can't change it. So yeah.
So getting married again means
I'm going straight to marriage.
Putting your toe out there somewhere. How is dating life as a father? Because you always see that like stereotypical like movie scene of like, I'm not letting nobody see my kid. Like is that reality for you, or is it something different?
It depends.
Okay.
I would say dating for me after divorce, as they say, there's pee in the dating pool. There's a little in there. Okay. It ain't that bad.
Okay.
Like, I've seen some stuff. I don't know if we follow each other on Facebook, but I hopped on Facebook dating. That's a wild place, brother. That is a wild place.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So for you single brothers, don't go there. It is a wild place.
1 out of 10. Do not recommend.
Do not recommend. And I did it off like a joke.
Yeah.
Me and my boy was somewhere. He said, man, I'm on Facebook. I'm about to get on there, man, And a wild place. But dating's been cool, man.
Okay.
At first I was kind of against it. Like, oh man, I got to get out here. And we were public with our marriage. Mm-hmm. And, I struggled with like trying to jump, to the conclusion, because people always assume the man did something, and she didn't do anything. It's just, we just grew apart, bro. Yeah. And that's just what it was. So I was like, I didn't cheat, and I put my hands on her. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just like, why am I doing that, man? Yeah. I just, got beyond that and just stood and, things happen, grew apart, COVID hit, had a new kid, was newly married, so it was just a lot.
There's a lot going on, yeah.
But dating has been fun. I've dated some great women.
Okay.
Some great women. I'm dating one now, call her friend girl.
Okay.
And that might be the one.
That might be the one. All right.
We'll see. But it's
you
been
heard
cool,
it here first.
man.
No.
But in dating, it allowed me to know what I really want.
Okay.
I've never really dated before. Like in my friend group, I'm known as the lover boy, certified lover boy. So I lock it down quick.
Yeah.
And but this time I'm like taking my time.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this situation didn't happen. Okay, I learned from that. What could I have done better?
Yep.
And what did I do well in here? And just kind of put myself out there.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And it's been a good experience.
Okay.
Some great women out there. Despite what you see on social media, so it's like once you get past that, and I'm all about you attract who you are. So if I'm putting that energy out there, I'm gonna attract a quality woman, because I think I'm a quality man. So
absolutely. Well, no, that's good. That's good stuff there. I'm thinking through. I was thinking through how to ask this next question. No, but
just ask it.
So when you think about your relationship and when you're talking about dating, how much does Savannah play a role in that process, right? Because I'm thinking through for myself, right? My wife, I love you, honey. You ain't going nowhere.
Hey, tread lightly, bro.
Listen, no, but like if I were to be thinking about, okay, I got 2 kids and going into that kind of scenario, how much does that play into like what you're deciding, right? Like, hey, I got a daughter.
Right.
How do you match up? How do you not match up? What's the blood look like on that? Like just trying to, how did that work for you?
Well, I'm trying to figure that out. But no, in all seriousness, it's a thing. Yeah. Like, I hate to say I'm a package deal, but I am a father. I'm a very present father, and I have a daughter. So it's like, every woman that I've dated don't meet Savannah. Yeah. You know what I mean? That, you got to work towards that.
Surprise.
And I would hope that would be the same if I was dating someone that had a kid on their side.
Absolutely.
And I trust my instinct on that. You know what I mean? And it's not a like perfect answer for it, man. Cause it's like, I know Savannah's a sweet girl, and if she meets a young lady, you know, it's Miss whoever. Like, you know, off the bat, it's going to be respect. So I think with just dating with a kid, it's the whole picture. You know, like if I'm dating a woman that has a kid, you know, is the father involved? What's the village look like? On my side, you know, I always joke, my ex-wife don't want me no more. And we could joke that way, like, that's dead. Like we're friends, we're co-parents. There's no drama on my side. So I've cleared that up to make room for a woman in my life, whether she has a kid or not. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times some men may struggle with that. Like how to dissolve the past to make room for the future. Yeah. And I have room and space for a woman to come in.
I like that though. How to dissolve the past to make room for the future.
Yes.
That's key. I mean, that is something that's
in any situation. It don't have to be, you know, relationship. It can be work, it can be business, it can be whatever. Like, we got to make room for what we want. Yeah.
Well, I specifically went to like finances.
Yeah.
Being who you are.
Facts.
Like dissolving, you know, what you've done in the past. Because let's just be honest, I have always been that one of like, money is a good thing, but I'm like, all right, how do we figure this out, right? Like, how do we really navigate the way that we should?
Right.
And that's just me, right? Like, the struggle is real.
That's real.
I grew up in a good family. I grew up in a, you know, middle-class family. Nothing wrong, nothing bad. Weren't upper middle class by any means, but, you know, we had what we needed.
Yep.
But that also, to your point earlier, right, does put in some triggers when it comes to certain things. Like, oh, I want a vehicle. Okay, well, I'm making enough money. Let me go get it, right?
Let me get the top dog.
Right, I'm gonna get the limited. I'm not gonna get platinum because I can't. That's
not there
can't
yet.
Do that. But you know, I'm gonna go grab limited, and I'm gonna grab limited of everything. But is that really where you want to go? And are you dissolving out those triggers and that past history and what you couldn't have or didn't have to really prepare yourself for the future?
That's real. That's real. No, that's real, man. Like, I don't know what to say after that, but you're right. It can, whatever the situation, money, relationships, business, career, how can I like resolve the past to get to where I want? And what am I willing to sacrifice?
Say that one more time.
What are you willing to sacrifice?
Man, that's some rough stuff right there.
What am I willing to say? You know, like even like with dating, like as any man, you know, the numbers are in our favor. I can't be out here like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, I'm willing to not be out here like that to find the person for me. Yeah. Because it's easy to be out here like that. Yeah. You know?
I mean, we see it all the time.
But that's not me anymore. No, I'm joking. I'm pushing 40, but I can't be out here like that, bro. Like
pushing 40. Wait, 37. Like
push 38 this year, man.
Oh, that's true. It is later this year, turn 30. Okay, you're knocking on the door.
Yeah, you round up, man. 40.
Fair enough. So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit, and I want you to kind of give us a little reflection.
Okay.
Look back at pre-dad.
Ooh.
What would be your advice to yourself? Either right before you had Savannah, in preparation, like what would you tell yourself if you could go back and give a heads up?
About fatherhood?
About fatherhood.
Ooh. Be present.
Okay.
Roll with the punches. Enjoy the process. I would say those three.
Okay.
Because, you know, early on, the first 2 years of the kid's life, it's rough. And then even leading up to the birth of the kids, like, oh my God, like I got this big old responsibility. Like what? Like they don't have a manual on how to be a father.
There is not one included. I just want to make sure everybody's aware. There's not one included.
Or even a manual to be a husband to your wife while she's pregnant.
Fair.
After pregnancy, postpartum's real. You know what I mean? Yeah. For men and women.
Absolutely.
So like, it's like, let me add another one. Do the research. Have a community. Ask questions. Talk to someone that's been through it before.
Right.
Those would be the things. You know what I mean? And those are the things I did not do. Yeah. But you know, when I have another kid, get married, those are the things I will do. Yeah. You know. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really reflective because that was what. That's, you know, about 7 years ago.
Yeah. And a lot happens in 7 years.
Yeah, you're right.
A lot happens in 7 years.
You're right.
And a lot has happened, right? In that 7 years period of time. What reflection, when you look back over just the time that you've been a father, what are some of the big pain points that you would suggest to just be cognizant of for expecting fathers, maybe that young man that wants to get into a relationship, wants to get something started or to be a father, or just a relationship in general? It doesn't necessarily have to be fatherhood, but relationship in general. What advice would you give?
I do believe in, and this may be controversial, I believe in being married before you have a kid.
Okay.
So as men, it is on us to do the vetting, doing the research, asking the questions, creating a space for you to get to know the young lady, to see if that's the person that you want to spend your life with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's important because that's a commitment that you're making to God and that woman first. Yeah. And then I think that helps with the situation if you have a kid.
Yeah.
Like I said previously, find a mentor, find a dad, someone that's already been a dad. I know I got a couple OGs in my circle. I know we talk a lot about fatherhood and being being a husband. I'm still a husband. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not a boyfriend. We could talk about that. Sorry to go on tangent.
I'm not a boyfriend.
I am not a boyfriend, bro. I am a husband, man.
You're not boyfriend material.
No, I'm not. Can we just,
He said, this is my classification. I'm sticking with it. I'm not losing my title.
Boyfriend,
Fair.
But definitely, get to know your person.
Yeah.
And y'all get through something, learn how to fight fair.
That's fair.
Learn how to communicate, learn how to be a better listener. That's something that I've had to work on.
What about that stands out?
Like, just listening. Because one thing I learned about women, they'll tell you what they want. You just got to listen.
Okay.
And oftentimes as men, we don't listen.
And we selectively listen, I would say. As well.
We do. We hear y'all.
We heard you.
We ain't listening. So it's going back to like the communication. Yeah. And I would say as I'm maturing in my age, I'm becoming a better listener. And I used to invalidate feelings. Everyone has feelings. Like, who am I to invalidate your feelings? Who am I? Nobody. Yeah. So that helps with me being a better listener. Like, okay, this is bothering you. How can I help? Or do you just want to vent?
Right.
If you just want to vent, fine. If you want my opinion, I'll ask. If you say no, I won't be offended.
Right.
So it's just those communication skills. And I think, one thing I've been heavy on is masculinity. Recently I posted on Facebook, how women say, I'm working on my femininity, I'm on my femininity journey. Are men on their masculinity journey? Some people laugh when I posted that. I'm like, why are you laughing?
Right.
Like, you just don't wake up and be born a masculine man. You have to work towards it. You got to go through life. And I would say in my healing journey, I've been working on my masculinity. It's not like a fake or anything. It's just like, reading, talking to other men. Right. I read the book, The Way of the Superior Man. Highly recommend for men and women. The Way of the Superior Man. And it talks about the duality between femininity and masculinity. Men and women have both, So maybe us as being girls' dads, we may be sometimes in our feminine when we work talking, playing with our girls. Right. I'm pretty sure it'd be different when you're playing with your son.
Absolutely.
So and that whole thing is really, as a man, work on our masculinity, how we can show up for our family, our wives, our kids, and our greater family, and being an anchor. And it talks about like how women and their femininity is flowy. And that's just who a woman is. And that's okay. And as a man, we got to be that strong anchor to kind of be the boundary for them to flow in, within the space. So yeah, it's been a journey. Yeah. It's been a journey, man. It's been a journey.
That sounds like a lot of knowledge to come out of that journey. So that's good.
Yes.
I love that. And I love what you said about even just allowing the flow. That's interesting, because immediately in my head I'm going, can we put some bricks up? Because some of this flow is just you
flow
all
right
over
here,
the place.
But just bounce off this wall, bounce off that wall. We good.
Come on back to the middle, just a little bit, please.
Just a little bit.
But no, the reality is, right, you have to allow that, because we as men often want you to be rigid and we want you to be a little more logical, but that's
the
not helpful.
Women are.
Correct?
Yeah.
Correct. That's not helpful in that space. And we need to flow sometimes.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Sometimes we get too rigid.
Yep.
we see one point and you can end up driving yourself off the cliff because you're not paying attention to what else is going on or what else is happening within that space.
And even to that point, I think that's the beauty of having a wife or a lady in your life where they can provide that different perspective that you're not thinking. And I always tell my buddies, you know, your wife, your woman is the best investment that you can ever make. Yeah. Because you look at any successful man, they got a successful wife as well.
That's true.
So whoever I marry, you know, be ready.
You heard it.
Because I mean, that's my first. That's going to be my first person that I go to, regardless of anything.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean. So,
absolutely.
And I had to learn that. You know what I mean, and be open to what comes back. Because you know, some women, all women, love to have an opinion, right?
Absolutely.
But how do I receive that?
Yeah.
And how does she communicate it too?
That's also true.
So I would say I do better at that, you know. But it's something you got to learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes, and I always tell people, like, if I'm with someone, I'd rather you cuss me out.
Yeah.
Because I know you care. Yeah. You know, or man, get in the game, or like, give me that pep talk. I think that's important too.
Oh, good.
Give me that pep talk.
Give me
coach.
that pep talk. Come on, put me in the game, coach. Let me know where I'm supposed to be.
Like, what's wrong with this
dude? You are not hitting those free throws today, sir. I need you to figure it out.
Figure it out, bro.
No, that's dope, bro. That's dope. So to wrap it up, talk to me about something that you miss from your childhood that you either want to implement for Savannah. Or make sure she has a like experience.
Ooh, I would say travel.
Okay.
I would say we traveled a little bit when I was a kid, but we didn't like have that big family vacation.
Yeah.
And Savannah, she's always down to go somewhere. So definitely implementing like at least an annual trip.
Yeah.
Either, you know, domestic or international for her to see the world as well.
Yeah.
And I always tell her like she's very grateful. And I'm trying to help her understand what that means. You know, there's other kids or people who are just not, you know, privileged as her. You know, she's living a privileged life. Yeah. And my biggest fear is that, you know, she's not grateful because she's living a privileged life. But that's on me and her mom to nip that in the bud. So definitely travel. Definitely travel. I may be taking her somewhere internationally this year. So. Okay. I'm cool. I'm ready because I took her to Chicago 2 years ago. Our first plane ride. I was more nervous than her. Like she sat in the window seat looking. Yeah. I'm like, yo, just be still, you know. But
you don't want to be that parent on the plane.
But as soon as we got back from Chicago, she's like, Daddy, I want to go to Africa.
Oh,
I was like, what?
Oh,
why your taste so expensive? Like we got to build up to that.
You talking about Africa, Ohio? Because we can drive there,
we
baby.
It's up the road. It's up the road. No, but I want her to have that big imagination, man. Like if I can provide that, I don't mind. Yeah. I don't mind at all.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, listen, man, I am super grateful to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
I want to ask you to do one last thing for me, and that is give a shout to every one of your ministries. I'm going to put it that way that you have that because I want people to really dig in and tap into all the stuff you have going on because it's phenomenal. So let us know where we can follow, where we can find everything and go from there.
All right, man. Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
But I got a couple things. So Frugal Freddy is really my personal financial journey to financial freedom. So you can follow Frugal Freddy at IG, Frugal Freddy. And then, like I said, I have the Cash Lineals, which is my investment club. So at the Cash Lineals, where we're just documenting our journey to $1 million in our portfolio and also helping other people get to their $1 million. So that's at the Cash Lineals. We'll be doing some in-person events here in Columbus, Charlotte, Atlanta, Cleveland. That's where all the members are at.
Okay.
And we have a member in Sweden or maybe Switzerland. One of the two. We may have one out there.
Okay.
And then lastly, Aspire Financial. That's my newest endeavor. So that's the financial coaching practice. So if you're looking for financial coaching services for you or your spouse or even in your organization, please reach out to me on IG at Aspire Financial.
Awesome. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. For everybody watching at home, hey, listen, this has been a journey and we'll continue to go through it. But thank you for following along with us in the Watch That podcast. We're here to really just have a conversation, making sure that dads, fathers out there understand, one, you're not by yourself, you're not alone. There's somebody else that is going through something similar, and to hopefully give you a little bit of education on what is possible for you out here in this world. So thank you. And until next time, we'll see you later.